You don't have to tell people why we cut. I said horrible, horrible things about every single one of you, and Louis wouldn't let it happen on his channel. You mean you'll do what you do every week? Try to take over the world.
Whoa. Welcome everybody to May the Zoo be with you, your number one your number one Magic the Gathering, your number one trading card game podcast on the internet. I'm joined by my good friend and yours, Mr. Baby Josh. What's up, buddy? Good shave there.
Hey everyone, I was shaving it for later. And I'm of course joined by the goateed wonder, the comic book kid ready to talk all things Marvel, Louis DeGeorge.
What if I told you I wasn't a Marvel fan?
I know you're not, and I just ran out of things to say. So I don't know, that's just what came out.
And George is traveling again today, everybody. George lives a very busy life. The
number one shirtless driving podcast on the internet.
He still doesn't know a car to get everybody. So he's still debating that with me when, it's a whole thing. What is up, everybody? We're so glad you're here. Hopefully we have a good episode for you guys today. We stay a little bit more on topic than normal.
Hey guys, hopefully it's good. Please.
Hopefully we're better than what we've been in the last couple weeks, because it's been rough. But
we've been great. We've been great.
Today, we're talking about the Marvel Secret Lair. Last week we said they certainly won't release information on Friday, and then they released information that weekend. So we're going to talk about the bull market. Mr. Rudy from Alpha Investments. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that channel or not, but talking a lot about bull market in all TCGs. So we're just going to discuss that.
We've got takes, and we're coming for the title.
It's on the topic of a lot of people's conversations these days. We're going to talk about Sorcery. There's a bunch of cards being bought out, and it feels like 2021 out there. It feels like peak pandemic level indie TCG.
I don't know about that.
We'll get into it. If there's anybody who's ready to talk about peak 2021 level indie TCG buyouts, it's Josh and I. We're excited to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about Pokemon. Josh has been a new bug has bit Josh. It's called Pokemon. It's called having a daughter that likes Pokemon. Now, I know what you're saying. Louis, didn't that bug bite you 2 years ago and they make fun of you every week? Yes, that is true. But now Josh and I, both fans of Pokemon again. And
what did I not have 2 years ago? A daughter who likes Pokemon.
Yeah.
A 2-year-old daughter who likes Pokemon.
So pretty soon this podcast will divulge, over the next 2 years, I think we can see this podcast divulge into mostly a Pokemon podcast, everybody.
I've got some Magic the Gathering correlations to make, baby. I'm ready to compare. My favorite thing on the internet this week is everyone telling me what I can't compare. I'm excited in the comment section for some people to tell me what I am allowed to compare.
There we go. And then we're going to get into our secret shosh, which I don't know what is. But you can go over to KitchenTableTCG.com and buy all sorts of things from my website. If you want to support this whole thing, that would be amazing. You can also go subscribe to Josh's channel over at Hometown TCG. And I do have a Gold Wizard program if anybody's interested in ordering product at distro cost. Anything that is currently available, hop into the Discord server, which is at KitchenTableTCG.com. Hit the join our Discord button, and you can hop in there and see all the info there. All right, let's get into it, Josh. Let's really get into it. First and foremost, are you a Marvel fan?
I am a Marvel fan in the same sense that I'm a Star Wars fan, in the same sense that I'm a DC fan. I just like fun. I like fun.
Fan? What's fun about DC?
I'm sorry, you didn't like watching The Dark Knight? That wasn't
okay. So like that was 15 years ago. Isn't that ridiculous?
But hold on.
Hold on.
Is Batman in the DC? Okay.
Listen, I was a huge Batman fan as a kid, and the Dark Knight trilogy is one of my wife and I's favorite movie franchise. Have you ever seen the it's old. Maybe it wasn't fun. It's not funnyjunk.com old. I think it's College Humor, which is like, we are really dating ourselves right now.
Hold on. That's not even that old.
It's pretty old.
It's not homestarrunner.com.
Homestar Runner was so good.
It's not that old.
Oh my God. Is that still, that's a dangerous website to go to.
Let us know in the comment section if that's still around.
Do you remember the DC College Humor bit with Batman? He's like, I'm Batman. The whole thing.
Yeah. And it was, Who's the comedian that played that guy?
I don't know.
I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
Good bit.
I'm a big Batman fan. I think they have completely fallen off though. Like DC these days is awful. Like, the movies have been terrible. The Marvel stuff I got into a little bit, like when the Avengers came out, when those movies were like new and big, but I'm not like the Marvel guy that knows the history of all the things.
No.
Like, I went and saw the new Deadpool movie, and the whole thing is just like bits, right? Like the whole thing is just like callbacks to Marvel stuff. And I was like completely lost. Like I didn't find it that funny because the guy next to me, Donald, shout out to Donald, was next to me laughing, and I was like, I don't get this. And he's like, that's because you're not a Marvel fan. But so what level of Marvel fan are you?
Probably right around there. The difference is, like, I liked watching him murder a bunch of people while dancing to NSYNC. That made me giggle.
I like the movie.
Like,
I just didn't think
or hold on. My wife will kill me. I think it was NSYNC. If I'm wrong, that could be dangerous. That's maybe more dangerous than shaving my beard. Yeah. It is not good. Yeah. But like, I think they're all fun movies. I like the stories. They're cute little stories. I don't go to them because I think it's going to be groundbreaking cinema, or I'm going to see a story or express an emotion I've never seen before. No, man, it's superheroes. I like punches and stuff blowing up, and it's fun. And that's the space that it should live in. And I think it does a good job there.
I think it fell off.
I'm that fan.
After Thanos, I think it kind of fell off a little bit.
But this happens with let's not get into it. Every major superhero IP does this. They tell their main story, then they try to be like, here's deep cuts, and the regular populace is like, no thanks, pass on the deep cuts. And then you know what they do in 20 years? They tell the deep cuts again.
So here we have the first secret layer, or the first Marvel Magic the Gathering thing. We said last week we should have at least brushed on the idea that there could have been a secret layer. And I'm pretty sure we just... Did you say it?
Last week, I said, wouldn't it be the most Wizards of the Coast thing in the world to, and this is where I got it wrong, only release, because we're debating the sets, only release Marvel as a secret layer and Final Fantasy as the tentpole set. Now, I don't think that's what's happening, but if it does, that clip's going to look real good.
Yeah, we're going to have to clip it first. Oh, you will on your channel.
No, I won't. That's really hard. Comment section, do your thing.
Yeah, so this surprised me though. Like, I honestly, do you remember the video they started with 2 years ago or a year ago when they announced the Marvel thing? It was like the kid watching TV and it like turned into him playing the Magic game. Do you remember that?
No, but that sounds awesome.
It was like a really, really well done trailer. Like it was like so well done, and the hype was incredible. It was huge. It might have been at Comic-Con a year ago. And I felt like this being the first announcement kind of deflated that excitement for me. Like
great take.
Secret Layer is like, I don't know. It kind of deflated that excitement for me. But
Secret Layer lives best as Magic fan service, right? I don't want to let you get away from that point. I want to touch on
your video. Yeah, I watched your video on it before I recorded my video. I watched your video to make sure I didn't steal your take, because you always tell me I steal your takes.
I haven't had any time to even watch your video, so now I'm a really bad friend.
Video. So Josh's video, for those of you who didn't watch it, go watch it at hometowntcg.com. Hometown TCG YouTube. Was essentially your point, if I remember it correctly, was that like Marvel fans aren't going to know about Secret Layer, right?
No,
like
it's not going to bring Marvel fans will.
It's not going to bring people into the Magic the Gathering ecosystem. And I think that's probably true. I mean, I agree.
It's a miss. It's a miss on a mass marketing. You'll have some Marvel fans that were at Comic-Con or followed Comic-Con content the same way you have Magic fans who know of Secret Layers, right? But the massive Marvel fans out there are going to miss it.
So I took a similar take, but I said what the Marvel fans are going to miss, this being their first interest, because I do think, like, if you're a Marvel fan, I think you'll hear about this. I think they'll obviously have some cross marketing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what you miss is that Magic is about the gathering. And like this past 2 months, what I've really learned about my life and my stuff with everything going on, blah, blah, is like the gathering side of Magic is what's important. Like the people that you meet, the friendships that you create, like the actual interactions are so important. And like, You don't get any of that. You don't get any of that by buying a secret layer. You get some cards and not even a deck. You can't even like what are you supposed to do? You get your Iron Man commander card. You don't even know how to play. You don't have anything to look at. You don't have any like I don't know. I think it's this as a end of itself, I think is a miss. But I want to add one caveat to that, and then you can follow up. Is that I think this is a teaser, and I think probably before this podcast gets viewed by most people, I think we get an actual announcement of what the set is going to look like. I think this was like a week-long primer for what is next, in my opinion.
Week-long Marvel tentpole edging. This is the wildest way to release this product. And first of all, bold take of you to say most people will watch this podcast. That's a bold stance. I like it. Well, you said before most people watch this podcast. Counterpoint, I don't think most people will watch this podcast.
No, I'm saying before most people who watch our podcast even view it, they'll have it announced. Like
even the ones that count as a view, I don't think made it this far. They're gonna see George is gone and bail.
Like we're out.
No, that's 100% a good point. And even further than that, it's the addicting portion of Magic the Gathering is something that I think Wizards has been really good at promoting without being super upfront about it. And I made this point for the Commander sets that came at the last two Universes Beyond Commander sets, where they made the addition of the collector booster pack. And like you said, Magic is the TCG that promotes playing more so than any other major game right now. The way you interact with Magic is you play it, and you play Commander. But the other aspects, what really gets you deeper in the rabbit hole, is because you can get a starter deck, a pre-con, you can play Commander with your friends for 2 months and kind of move on. But when you start cracking packs, and when you start modifying decks and making them your own, and deck building and swapping cards in and swapping cards out, that is what, like, ooh, there's some hooks here now. I can't just let go.
It's like a lottery ticket.
It's a little bit, but it's more than that, because not only are you cracking the pack and looking for value, which we're being silly if we don't think people are doing that, even casual fans, but when you start swapping cards out of decks, or the first time you're like, ooh, I swapped all the cards out of this doctor deck, but now I want to build this person who he's a legend. I can build a whole deck around him. Now you have real hooks in you.
Yeah.
And
you're starting to think about the game at work. You're starting to think about the game, through the day.
You're just getting excited about it from multiple different fronts. It's this massive pie that you can attack from so many angles, and you're now no longer buying a pre-con and just playing. You're buying a pre-con, you're buying packs, you're deck building, you're collecting, you're doing all of these different things. And that's what I think we're going to see a lot of being missed here. Now, I like the fact that it's like a secret layer little commander starter kit, but this does what secret layer does best. It's mostly Magic the Gathering fan service. It's a way for people who are into Magic the Gathering and already like Magic to have a little bonus, a little extra, a little something special.
So they did this with Lord of the Rings. They had the Lord of the Rings secret layer that had some extra cards, and there was nothing. I mean, this has mechanically unique cards, hypothetically, if they don't put them in. If you don't see the Captain America First Avenger in packs, this would be a mechanically unique card.
I don't think you think there's a chance that happens. I think there's 0% chance that if we get a Marvel main set, Captain America, the First Avenger, as you see him, maybe not the same art, but
I think it would almost certainly be different art.
Yes, but that card's in the set.
I think you could see something, maybe not in the set, but you could tell me that they do a another one of those scene bundles, right? Where it's like you could tell me they do a spoiler. This is what future Louis coming out here. They're gonna do an Avengers box set that is just like the mosaic, and it's gonna be a mosaic image of the entire set of the Avengers, and each card will be one of the Avengers that goes together to make a mosaic panorama,
like
whatever.
Their battle in New York or something from one of the movies, something the casual fan would understand.
Yeah, and that is where they can they will, I think, reprint this kind of thing. I don't know, but the mechanically unique thing doesn't bother me. It bothers all. It bothers
100% bothers me.
I know it does. I could see your little 100%. Player brain being pissed off. I think like they know how many of each card are in print. So like if they know that this Captain America is going to have the same number of prints as a mythic in the Lord of the Rings set did, then who cares? Like, I don't know, like as long as the card's not $75, I don't think there's a problem.
Well, because delivery matters, right?
Why? You
Like-
can't, you're saying you can't, you're saying you don't have the opportunity to pull it in a store or whatever?
Yeah, what's gonna happen is there'll be 7,500 of them in print, but instead of them being put in booster boxes and shipped around the world for anyone who stumbles upon one, it's for the small percentage of the population that is aware of the secret lair, gets in on the secret lair, and gets their max purchase order filled right away.
Yeah, but like so Lord of the Rings probably not available in maybe set packs would be available in your average LGS. That's probably true.
Lord of the Rings set was available in your LGS for a long time and likely still is.
Yeah, my brain went to collector packs because probably most stores don't any longer.
That's the right way to do it, right?
No, I agree.
There's nothing
100%
functionally unique in those collector packs.
I get it. It just doesn't grind my gears like it does you and the prof buddy on that one.
The thing, Magic is so beautiful because it's not really, and I'm going to get so much heat in the comment section for saying it's not gate kept because they're going to be like, a standard deck is $300. Like it's not gate kept to the point where it's like, hey, you can go to the store and every card that's in print or that's like made for your commander or from any set, you just buy the base pack. Guess what? You can get that card. Yeah. You can get that card. Now, the collector pack is a beautiful thing because now you get chase treatments and foils and rarities and stuff. And I think it's a wonderful thing that they do it that way. This breaks what I think is one of the most beautiful models in Magic.
Yeah. It doesn't bug me that much. It's fine. I understand.
How many are you buying? How many are you buying?
Honestly, I'll probably forget to buy them. Like I have forgotten like the last 2 months worth of secret layers. But if I'd probably put $1,000 or $2,000 into the secret layers.
I want as many. I want to see what the max order is.
Yeah. Max order usually on these is 30. They did say that this is limited. This is not one of those super drops that is an all out, that surprised me. That surprised me for sure. You would think on a Marvel level, this would be one that they would want to make sure that they make as much money as possible.
I don't think so. They changed how secret layers worked. It was like a year ago, right?
No, I know.
I don't think they'd go back.
They went back on that with the Extra Life one. I guess they care a lot about charity.
When they did limited drop secret layers, I think Extra Life was always unlimited.
Let me be very clear, comment section. I'm not saying
you hate charity.
I'm not saying they should hate charity. Done that. I'm just saying
I knew it.
They said they would do it they did it for that one. I mean, what's from stopping them from doing it for this one? I mean, like who cares?
This one's not charity. This one's pure pocketbook.
I will buy at least 10 of these, and I will also try to buy more to have available at my store. Because in almost every single time a secret layer like this comes out, I have 2 people in my store be like, "Hey, I missed it. Can you get it for me?" I'm like,
"Yeah." I
like being that guy that's able to get them. Like I don't usually charge more. Depends on how far out we are on, like when they ask for them. But
it's gone up 200%. Can you hook me up?
Yeah. Like if it's a week after, like I like hooking people up with them.
Yeah.
And other people do it for me. The what's it called one that I missed, Monty Python. I ended up with probably about as many Monty Pythons that I would have bought them for myself because so many people were like, "Hey man, I heard you didn't get one. You want to buy mine? You want to get mine? You want?" A couple people gave them.
So nice.
Yeah, people are awesome.
Look at them not gatekeeping you.
Do you have?
I'm just going to use that phrase to trigger.
Do you have a favorite? Not financial. We'll get to financials in a
second. I got really into. There was a re-release of the Iron Man comic when me and my buddy were running like a game store in Wisconsin, and I was like, I'm going to buy a bunch of this Iron Man, like every issue of this Iron Man comic, and that's when $7 to $12 was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And so I have a giant stack of that Iron Man comic series that is worth absolutely nothing. So Iron Man's cool. As far as like play is concerned, I don't play Commander. So I don't care. These don't speak to me at all. I will say, once we start getting into the individual layers, if we talk about the individual cards at all, I might play Commander because Wizards of the Coast is taking all you salty Commander whiners and giving us some fun stuff to play with finally in your face.
What one do you like? What's the one you want? What's the
Well, I mean, you can't play Storm because it's literally the most broken thing I've ever seen. You can like free 2-card combo win the game off a single attack, and it's really not.
Is that not
difficult.
what is it? Not Vintage Legacy legal? Isn't that Legacy legal?
Yeah, that's getting that down in Legacy and getting an attack off is probably a bit.
You gotta get an attack off.
It's probably a bit yeah, it's a bit ambitious there, but I mean, you hold up a Pact of Negation, you're going to win that turn anyway, right? Like, who cares?
I like the Wolverine. I'm a huge Gruul fan all of my life. I mean, from Gate Crash, my first Magic set on, I have been trying to make Gruul a thing. Like, that's been my favorite playstyle. And that happened, mind you, in Bloomborough. I got to play Trash Pandas, which was a Gruul, amazing limited deck. One of the most fun Magic the Gathering formats I've ever played was Bloomborough Trash Pandas. And anyway, sorry. So the Wolverine, and I'm also a fan of Wolverine. Like, of all the Marvel crap, Wolverine is, in my opinion, the coolest character. He just, like, I don't know, he's like a cool character. Like, I'd love to sit at a bar and talk to Wolverine. Captain America, I would not even acknowledge. Like, you're not my guy, Cap. Like,
Cap's lame. He's lame.
Cap knows he's cool. I like Wolverine because he doesn't have that, like, pride. You know what I mean? You can tell he's seen things. He's beaten down.
Pride is the wrong word. He doesn't have that righteousness, I think. What it is.
Self-righteousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, it's got the Ozolith in it, which is a sick one.
Do you know that card? I mean, I don't know. Are we talking about values yet? Didn't that card, like, isn't it somewhere around like 30 or 40 bucks all of a sudden?
I remember in Ikoria cracking those open, they were like $1.
No, they were always more than that.
There was a while where
really?
They were pretty cheap. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know they got that low. That's crazy. That's cheap. That's cheap.
Comment section is gonna tell me I'm lying. I remember that. That doesn't make it true. Just so you guys know. I think
it might have always been more expensive than that.
I remember pulling Ozoliths. I remember buying Ozoliths at like $2 or $3, I think. I'm pretty
how
sure
many alpha copies of Curd Ape do you own? If you're just like a Gruul guy, how many?
Probably have one.
You got Curd Ape has got to be like that's your mascot. That card is
I do have
awesome.
One in my I have a Kibo deck, which is the monkey banana making deck.
Okay.
Super fun. And anyway.
Dude, that's boo.
Yeah.
More Curd Ape, more ape. Apes together strong, dude.
And then the Iron Man one having Soul Ring, I think, is like, that Soul Ring's gonna be worth quite a bit. That's a cool long term. That Soul Ring sees a lot of value, I think.
Can I tell you, having the Soul Ring in one layer, weird. It's weird.
It's not a commander layer. It's just like
what?
Well, you want to do a Soul Ring for what's Wolverine's Soul Ring?
No, there's a card that if you spend $200, you get. Right?
Yeah.
And it's an arcane signet.
Oh, you're saying that could have been the Soul Ring?
Put the arcane signet in with Iron Man and make the Soul Ring the big, like, hey, you bought all the Avengers.
The arcane signet has an A on it, and it's the Avengers logo.
I'm sorry, you couldn't have pseudo-named the arcane signet something else?
I don't know. Like, I think the A speaks for itself. Like, I think that's, like, obviously what they're going for there, too.
You know that Avengers Tower was Stark Tower.
Was it? Was that in the thing?
Yeah. So
that card's in there twice? That's not true.
No, it's not. It's not in there twice.
Oh, but
I'm saying,
okay.
Take those two cards and switch them. You can change the pseudo name to be whatever you want, right? But the Soul Ring feels like it should be not tied to one of these layers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that, but that's okay.
Yeah, you don't care about anything, so that's fine. You're just like it's not okay. Commander, but it is.
So then I did figure this out after when you were doing your hat thing. They did say at the end, where is this one? I put it in the thing, but you in addition to the announcement at Comic-Con, Wizards website was updated with partnerships first Universes Beyond expansion, Marvel's Spider-Man. So Marvel's Spider-Man, and that's the only thing ever we have, and then a a graphic, and it says coming 2025. Friendly, amazing, spectacular. So,
it's cool that they're doing all of them.
Put our hats on. Okay. What does this mean? Are we going to see a full-fledged Avengers set, which has no spoilers, zero? That's just speculation, zero thing to go for as the main set in summer? Or are we going to see Marvel Spider-Man as the main set for summer? That's going to be the first big Marvel thing, and it's going to be a big full-on set. Or is the summer set going to be Final Fantasy, like I predicted last week, and the Commander set in line with Fallout going to be the Spider-Man set that is a Spider-Man Commander deck set? What do you think?
That makes more sense to me. The second option makes more sense to me than anything else. But just to take
the second or the third,
whatever the last one you said was.
Okay, yeah, the last option.
The thing that does is it stretches this out for longer.
Yeah, it seems like a miss, man. Right?
Well, hold on, hold the phone, boo boo. If we get a straight to modern set one day, like Lord of the Rings, that is Marvel, it's everyone together. That makes sense to me. If all of the Marvel integration is just Commander subsets themed around one hero, and that's what Marvel looks like, that feels weird.
I mean, I think someday we will get Avengers, right? That is the biggest IP in Marvel. So I think someday we will get a full-on Lord of the Rings style set that is Marvel's Avengers. Right. I think that is inevitable. In my
leading up to that, if we spend 4 years just doing hero commander products,
that seems like it's going to be in my opinion, that's a miss. Like my expectation was up here in terms of like, that's what we're going to see. Like as a store, I'm like, we're going to have Lord of the Rings level excitement, Lord of the Rings level hype, Lord of the Rings level sales. 2025 gonna be
level revies.
2025 gonna be epic, baby. But now I'm like, hold on, I don't know. Like that seems like a miss for the Marvel tentpole series.
I don't think it won't be a miss as in the Spider-Man set and the Iron Man set in that sense. In this world that we've concocted, they'll do well.
Yeah,
but it won't be what it could have been, right? And now maybe that's Wizards of the Coast what they want. They'd rather have, those will be big sets. Fallout equivalents probably, and Fallout did incredible. Fallout did way better than any of us expected. Like Fallout, as far as the sales that I've tracked, is the second best-selling Magic product as far as number of boxes that went out the door. No, third now because of Modern Horizons 3. It's the third best-selling.
That includes Commander decks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boxes includes Commander decks.
Boxes includes Commander decks, yes. Yeah. But I'm talking about like sealed products that went out the door, not including single pack sales, right?
Fallout was huge.
But like if they can get that success over and over again, here's what their challenge is. As Magic fans, we don't stay interested in these things. Lord of the Rings Holiday ended up doing great. But the initial hype for Lord of the Rings Holiday was kind of like, we already did this. And granted, these will be different sets with hopefully unique cards if they do hero by hero in this fake world we've concocted. But still, there will be a downslope of interest. Like, the Avengers stuff was fine. or the superhero stuff was fine. I'm kind of over it. Yeah. Even though I like the superhero, they're fine, but I'm kind of over it.
I think you end up sitting out more. I think you end up sitting out more if you don't have that first Avengers style set, which they still 100%. Might do. I still hope they do. I just don't see where they fit it in now with this coming out. Like, is there going to be? I don't know. I don't see where they fit the Avengers set coming out if this is a full-fledged set.
Well, does it? I mean, because they fit it in 2026, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is coming 2025. The Marvel one,
so Spider-Man comes 2025. So we get all these layers. Now, let's say we get 4 Commander decks announced release.
So box.
Yeah, this one, and then we get in 2026 the Avengers set.
Yeah,
but to me that's backwards because I think I want the base Avengers set and then like stuff to build into it.
Well,
Like,
and the other thing I think through is you had Modern Horizons 2, which was, I can't even think about what year that was.
5 years.
You had Modern Horizons 2, which was the #1 selling set ever for Magic the Gathering. Then you had I don't remember what the next summer set was. I can't
Double Masters 2022.
Double Masters 2022. And then Lord of the Rings, okay, which was the now highest selling set, right? It outsold Modern Horizons 2. Yep. Then you had Modern Horizons 3, right? Which was the summer set this year. And then in that next slot, you should have what will be like the next goal to like, if you look at it like a...
Well, that's in the next slot's Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy, I don't think Final Fantasy is the Avengers. Like
I don't think so. I don't think so either.
Yeah.
With the casual card game community, I don't think it is.
I don't think so. Or with the people coming in the door from, Lord of the Rings fans, that kind of thing.
Oh, so I think people walking through a Target.
I don't think they're dumb enough. I think they have been on the ball so well over the last 2 years. I don't think they miss this. And
this is the one week I don't have a beer to tell you to hold my beer.
I'm some dude in a basement. I'm not Mark Rosewater's aunt. Like, if I were though, I'd be like, honey, listen, you need to make the Avengers set the first set. Okay. Like, I think that's going to be a huge miss, but I don't think they're that dumb. I think we actually get a bonus set, which is the Marvel set. I think you don't have to call it Avengers, right? The first set could be Heroes of Marvel, right? The Spider-Man set is Assassin's Creed on par with the what's it called? Final Fantasy Commander set after the Avengers Summer set. That's my prediction. We recorded this on Wednesday night, so if they announce that Friday, yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't completely follow you, but I agree. So that means no matter what they do, you can go and be like, I was right. Marvel Avengers. Uh-huh. Somerset. Final Fantasy Fallout Commander set. Even though Final Fantasy Fallout came out before the big set of the year. Fallout came out first, then big set of the year. Sorry. Flip those. And then Spider-Man is the Assassin's Creed set. So if you're going to keep doing Aftermath sets, having your major tentpole release, and then having over the next 2 years Aftermath sets that relate to the major tentpole release centered on individual superheroes, that's fine. Where I will push back is Marvel and the superheroes and Spider-Man stuff is the perfect vertical for Commander. Yeah. Superheroes, Marvel, it's the perfect vertical for Commander. And I could see a world where they're in a design room and then saying like, oh, this is just our Commander releases for the next 2 years. Yeah, I get it. Right. Yeah. And in that case, if they don't then culminate that with a main full-fledged draft booster box set with new cards that you can add to your existing, Commander decks that are themed in the Marvel hero universe, and that's just a fail. Yeah. But you could tell me a world where it's like, it's so easy to make a Commander. Let's just take the easy route and collect some easy money. Yeah, I think they control Commander now, so they can tell you if you're allowed to play or not. They're just going to ban everything that isn't Marvel, and then you have to buy it. That would be a great way. That would be a great way to get us out of this bull market that we're in. Not even going to let me have my final take, huh? What was your final take? I thought that. I'm going to save it for. No, I'm not. I was messing with you. It's the one I didn't. It's the one I didn't tell you about that we saved for the video. I'm gonna do a whole video on this because I think it's the first Magic cards in a long time that are worth grading. Oh my gosh! Everybody, go watch Josh's grade your Marvel video. Listen, grading Magic cards is a losing game most of the time, but grading the Avengers, they can still be played with as commanders. Like, it's so good. They don't fit and Marvel nerds. Nobody wants to play with graded Magic cards. Marvel nerds are gonna pay me so much for my graded commanders. It's gonna be
Okay, so we have Rudy saying that it is a bull market. All the collector
See,
boxes
mine was a
pumping.
better transition because I'm pumping cards. I'm pumping and dumping on the community.
Everything's pumping, blah blah blah. And in his defense, he has not been saying that just about Magic. He has been saying about Pokemon, which is happening. He's been saying about every game, really. He says it about. Some games are pumping, some games aren't, but let him have it. So what do you think, Josh? What, are we in a bull market? Are we? And if so, what is your thing that proves that?
I don't think you can say with a game like Magic or a game like Pokemon ever we're in a 100% bull market. I think there's so much history and there's so much product here that rarely does the Magic portfolio go up or down, right?
Mm-hmm.
The difference is we are in a much better place as far as products that were previously deemed completely useless and unsellable. Draft boxes, collector boxes from an era of overprinting Amazon dumps are starting to come around from lows, not from what game stores would pay, not from what, your local store is trying to make, but like all-time lows. And there was a question of whether that would ever happen or not, or people would just be like, I just never want to touch this product ever again.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, I think a beautiful era of Magic was lost to that. And I think there's a lot of people coming around to nostalgia and love for some of those products and some of those cards. Ikoria was always a good one, but the Innistrads are a great example. I don't think Kamigawa Neon Dynasty got the love it deserved. Theros, stuff like that. Even towards, the end of that era, I really think that, we're seeing small increases in price there for, regular draft boxes, some set boxes. And I think that's good to see.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely some stuff happening. I think the market is definitely moving. I think that this says way more. Personally, I think this says way more about Wizards than this does about the confidence in. I know these two things kind of go hand in hand, but the initial part of this, I think, is way more about Wizards than it is the confidence of the investor, if that makes sense. Let me, I guess, try to paint it differently. Wizards has printed significantly less boxes, like collector boxes. Mm-hmm. Like I can't get Duskmorn collector boxes. They're not even pumping, and I can't get more of them. You know what I mean? Like Bloomburrow, it's out.
They're also not meant to pump. They came out less than a month ago, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I can't get them already. The quantity. I'm sorry. The pumping thing was because usually when a set pumps, distro stops selling it. They play one of the distros plays that game. I think almost all the things that you see in Magic currently that are pumping are things that had very, very low print runs. One of the ones Rudy keeps talking about is Ravika Remastered. Ravika Remastered on release, everybody hated it because it was a dumpster fire. But the print run of it was not. I mean, we were allocated on collector boxes, that kind of thing. Again, sure. That's one. This whole year they have reduced the print run significantly, and I think the evidence of this, in my opinion, of this being more in line with the reduction of supply than it is an influx of capital or investors, is if you look at Throne of Eldraine collector boxes or any of the older collector boxes, nobody has any interest in them. There's not this I don't know. It's wild to me that a Throne, what is that? Throne of Eldraine. A Throne of Eldraine collector box is $220 and has lost significant money in the last year, has lost 15%.
But conversely, an Ikoria Layer of Behemoths collector booster box is $315 to $320, right? It's doing the thing that Magic does.
Yeah.
That's that people look back on fondly, that they love, and less so about, yes, there are speculators and investors at play here. I'm not saying that's not a thing, but more so than usual, these sets are like, oh, I really like that. And it's like valuable. It's the same reason why it doesn't matter how good a set is when the price keeps tanking. Most people avoid it. If the price is tanking on your favorite Magic the Gathering product, most of the time you're like, there feels like there's a reason to stay away. Why does everyone buy boxes as they're skyrocketing in value?
Well, so I think the answer to that is that usually it's because the EV is inverse. And like that might be what happened with Throne of Eldraine, because they banned every card from the set. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything is
in what?
In Modern, didn't they? It wasn't because for a while Throne of
Eldraine, Oko.
For a while Throne of Eldraine was pumping because of Oko, and it had that uncommon, that green uncommon season. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the card. It was
they had Lucky Clover that was banned somewhere, but I think that was standard.
Let's see if this pops it up. Best match. Does that pop it up? It does. Right. Anyway, it was a green uncommon. Gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's all right. This is terrible content. But that
it doesn't matter.
For a while that was like a 15 or 10 or $15 uncommon, and in foil it was Once Upon a Time. I just found it.
Is Oko's banned in Commander too, right? Like you can't play Oko in Commander. That seems, or maybe it's not, because with 4 people you just kill.
Yeah, it's not banned in Commander.
But like the Oko being banned, we can't do this. Like Modern can't not matter until they ban the card in Modern out of the set, and now it's value tanks. Like
no, but what my point of saying, because Modern did matter back when Throne of Eldraine was a set, and Throne of Eldraine was on a trajectory up for a long time because the cards in it were valuable. The EV of it was inverse. Like there was a lot of demand for the set back then, but like now there's not any demand for it. Like there's no, so like Great Henge is really the only card that you want out of the whole set. Like, I don't know. I think like right now there's so much attention on new Magic singles and cards, and that's what's driving a lot of the value.
When Throne of Eldraine was released, you think Modern had that much more community share
in 2019?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So was it
Modern and Standard were huge.
What?
Yeah. In 2019, before the pandemic?
Standard was not huge. Standard was already dead.
No, that's not true in my area, at least. Like, I mean, this is probably conditional to where you are. But
was it less dead than it is now? Sure, but it was not.
Like every store in the area was running Standard events and Modern events. Now nobody runs either of those. Like nobody fires either of those. Like this was
also
prior.
Not true.
I'm talking about my area. So I specified that. Like now people just play Commander. Like that's it. Like back then a lot of people were just learning about Commander. It was not the way to play Magic. This was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I'm thank you. I surprisingly did the math. Yeah. I think your take on that is wild. That's absolutely insane to me.
What was the main format back then?
It was Commander. It was already Commander. Commander was the most popular format in Magic in 2019, and it wasn't close.
I don't think that's true, but that's fine.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy.
I don't think I had a Commander deck in 2019. I think my first Commander.
I don't doubt that you didn't.
I think my first Commander deck was Lord Windgrace, which came out in 2019. I think that's when I started playing Commander.
So you did have a Commander deck in 2019?
I'm saying like that. It was around that time that I started learning about Commander.
Okay.
And everybody around me was playing Standard. And Modern.
I think that's a wild take. What I think is, just to keep us on track, is more appropriate to talk about is, instead of the one set in that era that's not doing well, again, not quite the same era, right? But Brothers War is coming back up. Phyrexia All Be One is coming back up. Streets of New Capenna, that's
4-year difference in timeline.
We're talking about the Magic market pumping. I'm not doing that thing where we get laser focused on want me. You're going to hammer this thing and hit it with a hammer until I say yes, I agree with you, because I don't.
What do you think about Aftermath?
Aftermath was a terribly designed product.
Yeah.
So I don't care what its value is. I hate that product. It was a terribly designed product that didn't really do anything for anybody. Streets of New Capenna, which the lowest sale point was, I think, $100. I think it was $99 you could get it. And now it's at like $134, $140. So I think more appropriate than a pumping market is a reappreciation for some of the things that were definitely overprinted and delivered in a negative way.
Yeah. I just think that this pump is focused on a lot of the current sets, the things that are coming out this year, particularly, because I think they've got two directions going for it. This way. We'll go this way because it's reversed on my thing. Two directions going for it. On one hand, you have that the singles are in demand. People want the singles like crazy. All these sets right now are singles are flying. They're printing new cards for Commander. They're printing new commanders. They're doing all these things that people want cards for. And on the second side, they have reduced the supply of particularly the collector boxes, which gives people something to buy. And so I think those two things drive so much demand and into the ecosystem of Magic. That's why I don't think that you see things older than this year really actually pumping, because it doesn't have both of those two trajectories going for it.
Again, pumping is not the right word, but everything is coming up off some lows. And maybe this is just a rising tide lifts all ships. Wizards getting the print run for collector boxes right now is helping to lift some of these collector boxes we wouldn't otherwise talk about. But like Kamigawa Neon Dynasty crashed and was never going to come back and is back up over $200. And like, remember that thing, it pumped, it went crazy. And then Wizards of the Coast did like
huge,
hey,
massive,
here's an absolute boatload of it that we didn't need. And that product was deemed to be dead forever. And it's coming back to life. And
that was actually $240. That's crazy.
Neon Dynasty?
Yeah, the one you're looking at is Japanese. That's one of the things that you have to be careful.
Unopened, $209.95 with $15 shipping. So what is that? $230, $225?
Yeah, but you're right. There's two boxes for that. The rest of the boxes.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's two boxes for
that's it. That's somebody who has auto pricing on.
Can I tell you that them not putting the highlighted price, the first price, they dodged the whole this is foreign, this is Japanese, this is my special condition, this is just 12 loose packs.
Yeah.
That not appearing in like the first sale is the biggest win that TCG players ever had. Because I hate, especially now the more I look into Pokemon, I hate that so much.
That's
I hate
so popular in Pokemon.
I hate it so much. But maybe this is a rising tide lifts all ships thing. But I don't know, man. All of these sets that everyone hated, that were overprinted, that had their tank moment, are coming back around again off their lows. I mean, heck, Kaldheim collector boxes are $180+ right now. Kaldheim. Name a card from Kaldheim that isn't Vorinclex. I dare you.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're making a good point. There's a lot of movement on all those things.
Adventures in Forgotten Realms is $140 for a collector box. I never thought I'd see the day. That was a $90 box. And like, again, $90 was probably an overreaction, right? Probably shouldn't have been that cheap. But we just didn't like it, and it was too much of it.
What's Dominaria Remastered doing?
I think it's $190. I want to say. Am I right? I just made that up.
That's crazy. All right, like that's your best. That one right there is your best.
Am I right on that? Is it $190?
I guess it's not up that much, from $186, because that was for a while. You could that wasn't that on Amazon for like $140 or something like that?
It was on Amazon for $140, and even on Amazon at $140, nobody wanted it.
I think I bought like 20 boxes.
You want to know why? It didn't have serialized cards.
Yeah. It's got Force of Will in it though. Like, I don't know. It's a great set. They just printed that thing to the moon. Like they printed that.
The remastered thing is the play is awesome. We've talked about this till we're blue in the face. The play of that set, like sitting down and playing that set in limited, was so much fun. What do you want out of the collector box? Like, Force Will, maybe.
Anyway, I think calling it a bull market's fair. I think it has a lot more to do with, I don't know. I still think it has a lot more to do with Wizards than not. Like I think my counterpoint to what you're saying is like the security that people feel now that Wizards has changed it changes their opinion on some of the older stuff. I don't know. But.
Yeah, and like, look, this stuff. Your point will be true because this stuff will be cheaper than the older stuff. I don't think a Streets of New Capenna collector booster box will ever be more expensive than a Bloomburrow collector booster box.
No.
Because not only is Bloomburrow a better and more widely known and loved set, but it was already printed less. But these boxes, it's again, we're Magic fans. We like Magic product. As much as these sets might suck, like these boxes were never going to stay $90 forever.
Yeah.
They just definitely have a ceiling under correctly printed collector's boxes.
At some point, prices like that, people buy them just to have something to rip, just to have 100%. They want to crack stuff open.
100%.
Bloomburrow is a great point too, because what Bloomburrow shows, if you come and get involved in Magic in 3 months and you look back and like, oh man, there was a set that had cute furry animals. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's awesome. I'm going to buy a collector box to crack open. I missed that. I want to experience it. Like, and now there's no product anywhere. So you go to TCG Player, you go online, you buy it. And that also helps the market. So like, that was a good point you made about that too. But I don't know.
Outlaws of Thunder Junction, man. I got to tell you, that box, in my opinion, is undervalued because it's the wildest opening experience. It's the most hectic, non-directional 6-shooter with a cowboy hat opening experience I've ever seen. Like, what are you going to get when you open a collector pack of Outlaws? Anything from Magic's history, it feels like.
They've added the current quantity on there too. That's cool. Current quantity and number of sellers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool little thing. So there's 210 Outlaws boxes available compared to Bloomburrow, only 110. Wow. That's crazy.
Popular set, dude.
That's crazy. Duskmorn, 175. That's interesting. Yeah. Bloomburrow's gonna be set of the year for sure. I was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it already is. That's the only thing to come out yet is Foundations. That race is over, my friend.
Dude, Fallout's going to be $1,000 box. There's only 25 listed.
Yeah. Oh, I told you, man. The numbers on Fallout are staggering.
That's crazy.
I was amazed at Doctor Who because Doctor Who did way better than any standard set. Like sold more boxes. Yeah. Insane. And Fallout doubled it. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
And Lord of the Rings also completely pumping.
Well, that's standard. That's going to be Lord of the Rings is going to pump until the end of time, until we're dead.
The only thing Lord of the Rings, the One Ring is still risky to me. The fact that they haven't banned that in Modern yet, and
bundles aren't going to pump forever.
Yeah,
bundles are going to go down in price. And like, guess what happens when they ban the One Ring in Modern?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Played in Commander.
I know, but like, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, the serialized cards in that set are crazy too. I'm still bummed I didn't get one of the serialized Sarumans. I should have bought that when I could. I think that art is so cool. The Saruman of many colors.
It is really good. The art from that set is God. They do Universes Beyond so well.
I opened 57 boxes of that set. 57 boxes.
Do you want to sell it to Posty?
No, I was trying to make my money back, dude. That's the set that I panicked on. One guy in the comment section was like, "This set's gonna tank," and I was like, "Oh shoot, it's gonna tank! It's going down, baby!" I got my staff together and we opened 57 boxes because nobody wanted the sealed product. Nobody.
It's so tough to be you.
Nobody online. I tried to sell it to like my patrons at cost. Nobody wanted that at all. Nobody wanted it.
Dude, it is tough to be you. I just don't sell anything. My office is just getting more and more full.
I did end up getting 2 cases, I think, of it before it ran out at distro. So I do have some of it, which is nice. But,
there you go.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. We are time to beat a different dead horse.
We're actually talking about TCGs.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Let's move on to Sorcery. So Sorcery this week, another buyout because we are in full-fledged 2021, baby.
Where's George when you need him? What is this about beating a dead horse? Let's talk about Sorcery, everyone. We are fully in 2021 indie TCG mode, everybody. So Arthurian Legends comes out. Everybody gets their boxes. Everybody starts complaining about there's no value in them. Like that's like the complaint. Number one week. Everyone's like, there's so many singles on TCG Player, nobody's buying anything. Blah 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 blah. Louis, what are you gonna do? Blah blah blah. Rabble. A week passes, 2 weeks passes. We're here now, about a month later. And this week, everyone's rabble. There's not enough singles on TCG Player. There's not enough cards. How are people supposed to play the game? How are people supposed to build their decks? Because supply just like completely got drained out. And we're on like the back end of that now. So some people have opened up more singles. I actually decided I'm going to open a little bit more of my boxes that I kept. But like Ring of Morgan went up from, it was like, I think at one point like a $20 card. Yeah, $20 on October 6th. All the way up to now $81. Cheapest listed right now is $90. 155 sold. Crazy. To 3 people.
You think?
I'm sorry. I thought we said this was 2021. And if it's 2021, that got sold to 5 people. If it's not 2021, tell me it's not 2021.
And we're back, everybody. Sorry, had a nose. Josh punched me in the face. Had a bloody nose for some random reason. So if I sound a little nasally, that's because I have a tissue paper in my nose.
What's the point of hiding it if you're going to draw attention to it?
I mean, like, we have to tell people what we got. It's going to be this weird, awkward.
You don't have to tell people why we cut. I said horrible, horrible things about every single one of you, and Louis wouldn't let it happen on his channel.
Anyway, so supply of this card, Ring of Morgan, actually went like completely to zero, completely gone. Back again, and like this is there's no way 155 of these got bought by 3 people.
It's probably more like 7 or 8, but sure.
No, that's wild. That's wild.
Hey,
you know the poll rate?
Don't you talk back to me again,
dude. Like I'm not talking. You're gonna hit me again. Like pull only. Like there's some polls in here that are really hard to pull. Like there's some cards that are just like, when am I going to pull it? When am I going to pull it? And at some point you stop opening boxes and you go to TCG Player and you buy the card because it costs you less than a box and you need the card for your deck. And this card in particular is, super good effect. It could be played in any deck. So I don't know.
I gotta pause you.
Okay.
I think it would be disingenuous to say that every one of these sales from TCG Player is someone who had to buy this card for their deck.
No, I'm not saying that. I know there's people who are buying them out.
100% people who are like,
sure.
And that happens with all indie TCGs. Like that happens all the time.
Happens with all games.
Not so much the big 2 because you can't. There's not enough money.
That is right. You and I both own quite a few Obnixilis etch foils, don't we?
Just move on, Louis.
Didn't we pay like $100 for those things? They're like $6.
Shut up and move on. Move on.
No, like I totally agree with you. Like I know that.
Okay.
But there's also people who are opening boxes and don't get their card and say, I don't want to open another box, and they go to the market and buy it because they want to play in their deck. Like there's a lot, and those two work coincide. I mean, like you have to have somebody to buy your bag if you're the buyer, the guy who's buying them out, right? Like that's why you buy this card and not,
right. Some card
Year of the Blaze, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is. Like it's why you don't buy the crappy card.
Right.
I think it's interesting. Like we're right before like there's another wave coming at some point. We know that. We don't know when, but we know there's another wave coming at some point.
Yes.
And I think it's a good thing that like there is demand here and we're not on the opposite side of this, which is like the market's saturated with these cards. Nobody wants them. Here's another wave. I would vastly prefer to be on this side of the wave than the other side of the wave.
Well, I mean, do you think it's just because if you're a Sorcery fan, you forget how TCGs work because you only get one release a year? Like this, and yeah, it's a smaller community, and with a smaller dollar amount, you can have more control over the market. But like, boxes come out, cards are readily available and tanked to zero. And, oh, there's no value in the box, and then buyouts start happening in indie TCG markets, and two people who know the creator of the game want to buy every single card because they think it's the next Magic, and they sell their Magic collection to do it, and like then the price goes up to $1 million, and like then another wave comes out and that tanks, and those people are left holding the bag trying to convince you that it's a good idea for the next 5 years. Like that's going to happen. That's how indie TCGs work. This isn't like the most surprising thing. The question is the debate, the two groups of people that we talked about earlier. What's the size of each of those communities? How many people are buying this card because I'm speculating on this card, I want to buy 500 copies? Or how many people are, I didn't get it, I want to put it in my deck, I want to play with my friends, or I want to collect it genuinely? Yeah. That's what matters.
Yeah. I think there's a third group of people who are like collecting a full set or collecting a set of some artists.
The people who want it for their deck and the people who are collecting, I bucket those in the same.
Gotcha.
Those are the same bucket for me, right? Yeah. Those are people who, I mean, they care about the value of their cards because we're TCG fans. Of course we do. But they're less interested in that than they are in having the card. Yeah. The other side of that is more interested in the price of the card. They couldn't care what it says on it. They want it to go up so they can turn around and sell it.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, there's no way to know that, right? Like there's no way to put a tangible like this.
That's what we're speculating. That's what we're doing.
Speculative market.
That's what we're doing. We're speculating, baby. What do you think? What do you think? Which side's bigger? I got my take. I know what I think.
Bigger, or which side has more money?
Which side is buying more cards?
I don't know. So I think the expensive cards. I think you're negative.
The cards we're talking about.
I think that there's probably, I would say maybe 50% of the buys of that 125 cards are from people who are speculating on it.
Sure.
And then 50% is for people who want it for decks or whatever. I talked to two people this week who like, hey, do you have any Rings of Morgan? I want one for my deck, blah, blah, blah. I'll trade in cards. I'll, trade in my extras to try to get.
Sure.
So there certainly are those people. But when I look at it, and if you sort on TCG player by best match, that gives you like the cards that are most purchased. And the entire front page is cards under $1, which I think is really interesting. Like people are building decks, and I guess Wizard's Den is the only card over. Wizard's Den and Valley of Delight are both over $1.
Wouldn't you do best selling then?
There's not that for me. Oh, yes, there is. Sorry.
Yeah.
It didn't show me that a second
ago. You're good. You're good. I got you.
So I think that's different. Somebody told me this once.
I would assume best selling would be the largest number of sales.
No, there's no way foil Ring of Morgan is largest number of sales because there's only been 13 sold total.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure best match gives you the number one card sold, and that makes sense because Sly Fox is like the common from the set that's like really seeing a ton of play.
Gotcha.
Like 368 sold. There might be some other algorithm to what makes that all work, but my point being is that like a lot of the cards that are on that best match at least are cards that are under $1. Like they're people building decks. It's people who are trying out things, and I think that's great. I think that's fun. Like I think there is a good chunk of people who are playing the game and experimenting with decks and like having fun, and like I think Sorcery's in a really healthy spot in that way. Frankly, most of the like hardcore speculators and investors, I think alpha is still like the thing that they are probably focusing on and interested in. There might be some short-term money to be made here with Arthurian Legends, but most of those guys know that there's a second wave coming and maybe a third wave coming, and like the bag gets heavier the more waves that come out, and there's not more waves coming of alpha. So like if I'm that guy, I don't think that I'm buying up singles of Arthurian Legends. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
I mean, I see. This is where I think you're more optimistic than me on the split.
Yeah,
and I'm not unoptimistic on what Sorcery is doing right now, how its community is doing, how the game is performing. But I've lived this. I
know.
I've literally lived this, and the first time I lived this, I was on the side you're on, and then it became quickly apparent that these cards that were, foil high rarity cards, but not the super chase, not the rarest card, not the curio of that game, were definitely being scooped up by people who were speculating.
Yeah.
That was 100% what was happening. And eventually it came down and balanced out and everything ended up being fine, right? I am hard pressed based on the history of Sorcery, the release schedule, the cycles being the same as things that I've seen in the past with other games being promoted by the same circle of content creators and groups of people. I'm hard pressed to believe that this time is that much different. It's just, when you hear hooves, think horse, don't think zebra, right? I'm thinking I've seen it before, and I'm thinking it's going on. Again, that's not a death knell. That's not saying that there's nobody here playing this game. I've heard that argument too.
I also think what you're alluding to getting burned in the past and what happens to the community also has a lot to do with the companies that then print boxes, and the companies buy into a lot of that hype and artificial thing. I hope that Sorcery is smart enough, and Eric's Curiosity is smart enough to see the history of what happens when you do buy into your own hype and like overprint by, I'm not going to say a number of thousand because I'll get banned, but when you overprint,
I'll ban you from Sorcery if you'd like.
When you overprint by 200,000 boxes, what happens? And like, hopefully they don't do that, and then you don't have that effect. Like, it's not just that the investors go to cash out and there's nobody to buy this stuff. It's that like a lot of that whole speculative market was not planning on there being reprint after reprint after reprint after wave after wave after wave after wave.
So I'm actually talking about before that era. My experience with kind of having this realization happened before that era, and then following it along in the long term before the fireballs of channels were involved with basements of boxes and all that gosh, what an era, what a time. But even before that, because the product was in such small amounts.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as readily available, as far as you're thinking about, first edition stuff or things that people deem to be limited, right? It could be controlled by a smaller number of people. And heck, even me at that time as a player, a hardcore player and grinder of the game was like, ooh, I could own every single copy of this card. That's weird. Like,
right.
That thought's never crossed my mind before. It opens that door to more people. I don't think this is a factor of the company doing anything nefarious leading into the hype. In fact, if there was someone who was going to combat against that, I bet it would be Eric Curiosa. From every interaction we've had with them, they have cared about not only how the people perceive their game, but how people enjoy their game. Yeah. And they will do what is right. They could, and I don't want to say this mean, they could care less about your 100 copies of a ring that you bought trying to make money.
Right.
They don't know you. They don't care.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm saying that they're not dumb enough to buy into their own hype with their print button. Like,
well, but I don't think you have to. I mean, aren't boxes themselves still readily available and affordable? Like TCG,
they're right at MSRP.
So that might be time to panic, right? If these boxes are all of a sudden because singles are shooting up in price, there's a million buyouts, and then boxes start shooting up in price. that might be time to be concerned.
Well, I think that's the inevitable what happens. Like, I mean, that's going to happen. You're going to start seeing if the market holds at these prices, which they won't hold at those prices. They'll come down a little bit. Like that's how a buyout works. You'll see. I mean, you already saw boxes go up in price from 115 to now they're 130, 129.
Yeah, but like in a reasonable fashion. That's going to happen reasonably. But like just like we talked about with Magic, like beta's available for $200, and beta's a year old.
Right.
And beta sold for it was like 160, right? Was what were you supposed to sell beta for?
150 was MSRP.
150, yeah. So it's $50 more expensive a year later.
Yeah,
that's
after a couple reprints too. I mean,
yeah, and that's totally fine and healthy growth. What I'm saying is, if an Arthurian Legends box is $400,
no, that hopefully does not happen. I don't think that's not going to happen because they've come out and said that there's going to be waves.
Not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
All I was saying is that's the time for concern. Just like when this happened to beta the first time, and then more waves came out and they handled it correctly, right? That, in my opinion, is the time to be concerned. There are speculators, there are people pumping money into this. In my opinion, not a time to be concerned.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I need to get into building an Arthurian Legends deck. I have not had the energy or the time lately.
You've been a busy dude.
Freaking
been a busy dude.
Just end it. I'm gonna build a druid deck though. That's what I'm excited to do.
Let's go.
The druid, Josh, I don't think I've told you this. It comes with 2 tokens, and the first time you play I don't remember exactly how, but one of the times when you play a site, you get this bear. You get you get a bird. And then
very different than a bear.
Another time, I just gotta pop the card up. I'm gonna screw it up. Druid. Sorcery.
I'm gonna screw it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna screw it up. I'm gonna screw it up in front of everybody.
Late at night after you've lost blood in your brain,
I'm
trying to
get dizzy. So
yeah.
When you tap and draw a site, if you play a site and you don't control a Tawny, you get a Tawny. It's just like a 1/1 bird, right? Like it just sits there, whatever. Cool. So if you don't control it, you can get the bird back. Or you can tap and you summon a Bruin, which is this big bear. And then you get to flip the card, and the card does damage to anything nearby. So it's sick. So
that's always a cool mechanic that causes fights in game stores. I like that. I'm in.
Yeah. So you flip the card, and the druid's better, and it deals extra damage and that kind of stuff. But it's just cool that like your avatar comes with these 2 tokens that you get to put out kind of for free, and like it's just like a really cool mechanic. I'm excited to play it.
And I gotta pick it up still. There's player reward promo bird tokens.
Yeah, dude, I have the slivers. I have the slivers.
I think you gotta pick up a bird and bear magic token for your bird and bear avatar for your druid.
TCG player doesn't even have the sliver token. I have those sliver tokens are so cool. I love the player rewards tokens.
Yeah, I'm saying I like using tokens for like other games I like in other games. I think that's sweet.
Oh yeah. I always thought it'd be fun to make a Magic deck with MetaZoo lands.
I always wanted to use Pokemon Energy, but they're a slightly different thickness.
Yeah. Speaking of Pokemon, Josh is a full-fledged Pokemon fan. Congratulations, Josh. Man, I just spit on my screen. I just cleaned it yesterday.
You're having a day.
I'm having a 2 months, buddy. I'm having 2 months.
It's true. You're getting there though.
Pokemon time. Speaking of pumping markets and buyouts.
Wait, are you cutting that?
No, I'm not cutting any of that.
Oh, you just started the intro to the Pokemon section all over again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not cutting anything other than my bloody nose, and I might leave that in.
Please don't. It's gross.
Just started dripping. It's in my teeth.
If you're still here, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, you owe this man a comment in the comment section because he's a warrior. He's bleeding for you people.
All right. So 151 in particular had a massive buyout this week. 151 booster bundle displays, which Josh, I think you've got one on the back there, don't you? Congratulations, Josh. You made $100 this week.
So I bought that with the intention of me and my daughter opening it. So we're gonna open those packs.
Oh yeah, I'm not selling any of my booster bundle displays either because that's ridiculous.
Me and my daughter opening those packs, baby.
151 has always seen. I've said this on the podcast. Seems like the easiest money investment in all of the history of money.
Me too. I've also said that on this podcast.
Like, it seems like the most no-brainer investment in all of the world. I don't know.
What's crazy is how much more Lord of the Rings sold on TCG Player when you thought it wouldn't. When you thought they'd be close. Yeah. That was wild.
That is crazy. So a lot of the 151 art cards, like the Charizard, I think doubled in price this week. There was a huge buyout on Pokemon. I mean, like absolutely massive. What you guys are seeing with Sorcery happened at actual scale in Pokemon. Like, which doesn't happen. Like buyouts like this in Pokemon are hard. There are a lot of Pokemon cards.
Buying out the higher end stuff's a little easier.
It costs more money though. I mean, these cards were already, this card was already $115 card.
Now it's what, 189, 190?
Yeah, so if you buy 20 of them, that's a lot of money, man.
It's more than I can spend. That's for sure.
But it was across the board too. It's not just like the highest end cards. It's the other stuff. I mean, I had a bunch of Japanese 151 slabs that I bought, and they all sold on eBay. Like, I mean, literally this week they all sold because 151 just like went nuts all around.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then you also have like Twilight Masquerade's been pumping for quite a while, and that like had a huge uptick. And then Surging Sparks is like the conversation of the month right now. Surging Sparks, usually Pokemon sets come out and they're at this point, like the set comes out next week. At this point, TCG Player price is like $99. Distro cost everybody is $3 cheaper than that.
Good job not saying a price. Let's go
on a good day. And so to actually be able to make money on TCG Player pre-sale on Pokemon is nuts. Like this is what George and Josh always make fun of me for on the podcast. It's nuts. It's crazy.
It's
crazy. You and George. That's who hurt
you.
That's who hurt me.
Jeez Louise, buddy.
I think Surging Sparks is a little bit of a let's go a little bit easy, everybody, on the Surging Sparks.
How many Charizards are in it?
I don't think any, but there's Pikachu.
It's almost as good.
I think the big thing for these sets right now is that they have changed the pull rates back to like difficult. So like Obsidian Flames, it was like we did a bounty for Obsidian Flames, and like the bounty was pulled in the first 5 minutes of the store being opened on Friday. It was so easy. And then like 3 people opened it that day and were like, where's my bounty? It was like, sorry, you're the third person.
Yeah.
Like, it's the first person. That's what a bounty is. Whereas like Twilight Masquerade to get the Greninja, I mean, it's impossible. It's like so freaking hard to pull. It's like the Moonbreon was.
Moonbreon, right? That's the one.
And like people like that. People want it to be difficult to pull the card.
That's the game, right? That's the game in Pokemon.
And so it seems that has done a lot to help the market of these cards. And then the big thing that I actually think was the catalyst for all this is that they kind of announced a couple of weeks ago the Team Rocket set is coming out in the first set of the year. I think it's the first set of the year. And that, I mean, the excitement for people is huge. And like, it's perfect. It's on the back end of this Scarlet and Violet era. It's going to drive a lot of people back to come and play and collect and be involved in the hobby again. And they're going to pick up these other Scarlet and Violet era things. Like they saw the announcement and they're like, Team Rocket, I'm in, but that comes out in 6 months. So what can I buy now? Oh man, this Pokemon box is $100. Let me pick that up to crack some packs. All of a sudden, you've driven the market price up of a lot of the other stuff. I think that's a lot of what's happened too.
Pokemon, more than anything, has that effect, right? Because there is the I want to open the cool card culture. There is the I want to open the things in my collection culture. Yeah. There is more so than any other game. This is $100. I'm going to buy it just because I want to crack packs because I can get something I want.
The idea of trying to crack the entire set is so ridiculously stupid. It's unbelievable. But dude, you would not believe
people keep doing it.
Packs I sell to people. We're like, I'm just trying to pull the Moonbreon, and it's like, dude, just buy the card.
Yeah,
like, It's like, come on, man, go buy the card.
That's the space. That's the space, is be the professor.
Yeah, I
just
mean, like,
scream buy singles at people. That's the space.
It's crazy though. Like that's like a Pokemon thing that makes no sense to me. It's wild.
Right.
I never open Pokemon packs. Never. The only time I open Pokemon packs is with my daughter, and I'm not opening it for value. I'm opening it so she has an experience of opening packs.
I'm so excited for her to open her first Lorcana Enchanted or Crazy Pokemon card, because when I just put it in, she's got her Pikachu upstairs right now that we got at Collecticon. It was $1 Pikachu. The people at the booth were so nice. They're like, let us just give it to you as her Pikachu card. And I'm like, nope, I'm paying you. Like I pulled $1 out of my wallet. I was like, I want to pay you for this card because I know you'll never be able to sell it otherwise. And like, it's just in a top loader and a sleeve upstairs. If she were to pull a Lorcana Enchanted, it would just be in a top loader and a sleeve upstairs next to her. And maybe I'd send it to PSA so it's in a slab for her. But her slabs right now, she's got 3 of them now, are just on her shelf, and she just carries them around and plays with them.
Yeah.
So they're not like, hey, that's on display, honey, you can't touch that. No, like, hey, they're your cards. That's going to be her Charizard one day. Oh, I had that. It's a $10,000 card. I destroyed it when I was a kid. Like,
right.
Sorry, kiddo.
I think so. There's people who buy all the time. I have this. There's people who buy like a ton of V Pokemons and whatever. And a couple of them have reached out to me before. Hey, do you have any more? I'm like, yeah, whatever. What do you got? And they say they buy them to put them in their kids' packs. They like buy packs and then they reseal the pack so that every pack has a hit for their kid. And I think like, A, you love your kid a lot. That's awesome. More power to you. But B, I'm not doing that to my kid, man. My kid's got to go through it to get that hit. Like
that is,
yeah. I get it.
Hold on. We're accepting of all parenting styles. Yeah. We get parents who love their kids. That's some soft parenting.
Yeah.
Sometimes your cousin, your sibling gets a pack with something sweet in it, and your pack has nothing. And guess what? That's part of it. It's part of the game.
I think that's a wild thing, but it happens for sure.
No, that's I think I might be more against that than I am one set a year. If I could eliminate one thing from this universe, I would leave one set a year, and I would eliminate seeding your child's pack.
Okay, but the other thing, hold on, I want to talk about Twilight Masquerade.
I'm riled. I don't want to talk about anything else but that now.
I don't like the Greninja that's in Twilight Masquerade. I don't like the hype on Twilight Masquerade. You probably don't know what it is, but
I like the original 100. This is what's gonna bone me. This is where I'm gonna get banged here. I like the original 151 Pokemon.
This is where I'm gonna get banged here.
I've been watching a golf YouTuber, and he's just like, "Oh, you banged me." Yeah, and now it's like found its way into my vocabulary.
I would forget you're a golfer. That's always surprising.
No, I was until my kid was born, and I haven't been golfing in 2 years.
I would love to golf. I think golf would be the greatest sport.
During the pandemic, it was so much fun.
Do you just drink the entire time?
Most of the time, no, because you have to drive home afterwards.
Oh.
But like, there were days before my daughter that I'd ask my wife, "Hey, can you pick me up today?" And when it was yes, it's you put a 12-pack in your bag and you're sharing it with friends, and like you're not buying drinks on the go. I don't have money for that. It's crazy, right? But you're drinking cold Miller Lights out of the golf bag at 8:30 in the morning, and it's acceptable. Like, oh, what a day!
Wild life you lived.
What a day!
Twilight Masquerade's crazy. I mean, like this has Evolving Skies level polls and value in it, which is just insane.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. But here's what I want to say. I still don't get modern Pokemon, man. I'm like this old person who I just like, it doesn't do anything for me. I buy it because it is like the safest. I've said this for 2 years. Pokemon is the safest bet. It always goes up. There's like no Pokemon set on the market that is less than distro costs.
Until it doesn't. Remember, we're in a bull market right now.
No, but we were in a bear market for the entire Scarlet and Violet era. We've been in a bear market. It's been nothing, but none of the boxes dropped below distro costs. They were always $90 to $100 on TCG Player. This is not a Innistrad whatever it is, Midnight Hunt, where the box is $30 less than what I paid for it.
I think you're comparing a blip in the Magic the Gathering Wizards of the Coast radar.
That blip hurt me. That blip it wrecked me.
And listen, and I'm still here for you.
Yeah.
But I guarantee there was a period in time where Pokemon boxes were selling for under, distro cost. Never in Pokemon's history have boxes been on the secondary market available for less than distro cost.
I have not followed Pokemon for long enough to know that. Never since I've opened a store, not a single box of Pokemon has ever gone below distro cost. It seems like you can buy Pokemon as a essentially risk-free, and even if you're not a store, until Surging Sparks, you've almost been able to pre-order every single Pokemon box at distro cost on the internet. There's so much product, it's unbelievable. But it's, in Time Magazine's words, the number one IP. What did they actually say?
For a second, I thought you were going to try to trick us all into believing that you read the article in Time Magazine, but you're going to quote the cover. And so now I believe you.
Media franchise. That's what they said. It's the number one media franchise in the world, and the demand's huge. But I still don't get modern Pokemon, man. I'm all about that vintage. I can't get enough of the nostalgia. It's
I can't do more than the 151. And I know that I have to grow and adapt if I'm going to, especially getting into graded Pokemon. I can't be always buying the original ones and just grading those because I don't have deep enough pockets.
Yeah.
But man, it just doesn't hit the same way a Gengar hits. I don't even like the EX thing.
My daughter saw I have a Gengar sticker on my iPad. She's been using my iPad to play Khan Academy, whole thing.
Okay.
And she goes, "Daddy, I really like that Gengar." I was like, "Yeah, I do too." She goes, "Gengar's really cool." I was like, "You're my kid. You get me." But
it's my brother's favorite. She knows my daughter now sees a Gengar and goes, "Uncle Tony's favorite." I'm like, "Yep, nailed it."
Nice. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited that you're excited about Pokemon. We can have a weekly Pokemon segment. It's great.
It's going to be great. I'm going to know nothing except for what I happen to read about that week.
So are you going to open new sets? Is that going to be something that you do?
No, but I think you might start seeing a lot more
graded
sealed boxes and show up on the shelf.
There you go.
Because my theory for sealed boxes has always been hey, if I can't sell these one day, I want to have a use for them. And that's why Magic's always spoke to me.
Yeah.
I'll be a Magic fan until I'm dead and gone. So if I decide one day I want to open a box, it's there.
Right.
Pokemon's the struggle for me, right? I never had a use for it, but now if my kid is into it and she really likes it, I have an excuse to because I'm definitely into it if she is. I have a reason now. So now I can justify buying it and putting it on my shelf.
Just be careful.
What?
I don't know, man. That goes hard fast. Trust me. I made my daughter's into it excuse too. I can promise you I'm way more into it than my daughter is now. I promise you. It's no my
what's the problem? It's risk free. You said it yourself.
No, I'm just telling
I'm going to be a millionaire. So
I'm just telling you, be careful. My wife's like,
be careful for what? Getting rich and wealthy?
She's like, "Are you sure that she likes that, or does she just like that you like that?" I was like, "Honey, I don't know the answer to that."
I also don't care. You know what? Don't answer it for me.
Yeah. All right. What's our secret sauce?
Speaking of wives,
gosh, hold on. That sounded less like me making fun of George and more like me making fun of Asian. That was not the intention. That was George has a lisp and George isn't here.
So this is your first episode of this podcast.
Yeah, that was not what that was.
Louis canceled.
No, that was not.
And you're gone.
George has a lisp and he says secret sauce like that. And that is the joke. Just wanted to throw that out there for the internet.
Someone's going to clip that without your explanation. Just so you know.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
So speaking of wives.
Yeah.
I shaved my beard, as you elegantly pointed out.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking.
You can see it growing while we've been doing the podcast.
About no, my beard took like 6 months to grow.
Okay.
I want to know, if you shaved your beard, what would your wife's reaction be? What would she say? And I'm going to tell you what mine said.
My wife would be like, "You're such a baby." I would never shave my beard, for the record.
What would it take for you to get to shave that goatee? You've always been the goatee guy.
A million subscribers on YouTube.
You hold on. So this is the problem with the game. This is the problem with the game. If I said I'd pay off your house, you wouldn't shave your goatee?
I would shave my goatee.
So it's not just okay, so if I were to buy you, let's say you could get the next 2 Pokemon sets for free.
You want a monetary value of what it would take to shave my beard?
I want you to take a run with it. What's the minimum of something?
I would shave my beard for $5,000.
So you'd shave your goatee for $5,000. So if we did a charity stream and we raised $5,000 for you, I guess the $5,000 would have to go to you. It couldn't go to charity.
I'll match it. Let's do $5,000 for me, $5,000 for charity. Let's try that. No.
Isn't that just net zero for you? And a tax write-off?
No, I'm saying it's $10,000 from them.
So she would just call you a baby?
She'd be like, "You're such a baby." And then I'd let it grow back again. I don't know.
My wife came home and opened the door, and I met them at the door because I was trying to help, bring the kid in before I went back down to my basement office to work. And she said, "Oh no, what did you do?" And I forgot that I shaved my beard.
Yeah.
I said, "Just nothing." And she goes, "You're ugly now."
Oh,
she straight up called me ugly. So if you knew now that your wife is going to your face, call you ugly, does it cost more money or less money for the joke to be able to shave your goatee?
I don't think my wife would call me ugly. I think she would just say I look like a baby.
God.
I
What's having a nice?
I don't see my wife being that mean, to be honest.
The worst part is, it just slipped out.
Yeah,
she meant it because it just slipped out. She's like, oh.
She would maybe make fun of me if I shaved just the goatee and kept the. I've been thinking about doing this for Movember. I've never done a Movember. We're getting close. Maybe we should do this from Movember.
Nope.
Podcast did Movember.
Nope. I have blonde facial hair. It's gross.
Every time I see somebody with a just stash that comes down, it doesn't get
the hand.
I'm like, they pull it off. I don't think I could pull it off. But
you can't do handlebars is gross. You got to just do regular stash. Look like a cop. Look like a cop for a month.
I think I'd do the handlebars. I don't have a job, dude. I can do whatever I want.
That's fair. Actually, the handlebars probably makes you more of a hit at your game store.
Yeah. Should have done it for Outlaws, Thunder Junction.
Here's the problem with blonde facial hair is when everyone's like, "Oh, your beard was really good." If you look at it close, it's super see-through. It's it's not thick. It's out here. There's places missing. It's like a car. You go back to George's car analogy. You got cars with what's called a 10-foot paint job. As long as you don't get too close, paint job looks great.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get too close to me, my beard looks incredible. As soon as you start bringing it in, it's not good.
Yeah.
So your wife wouldn't call you ugly?
No.
Gosh.
So I really want to grow out the rest of my beard, but the problem is I make content and that interim month, it doesn't grow super fast. I think it would take me 3 months to grow a decent,
a beard.
Yeah. Decent, it would look fine. But for 3 months, I'd just look like an idiot because I'd have half a beard here.
I think you have to grow it all at once.
Yeah.
You got to,
I'm not willing to do that.
You wouldn't even do stubble like this. This is not clean shaven.
Dude, I have not shaved I trim it probably weekly. I trim my beard not weekly. That's maybe every 2 weeks.
You're so much more of a man than I am. It's insane.
But I haven't been clean shaven for.
Is this clean shaven to you?
I haven't not had this for 10 years. For 8 years.
So the Louis Mr. Potato Head doll comes with a non-detachable goatee.
Yeah, it's just permanent.
You can change the lips, but the goatee is painted on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we should do a stream. And we should raise $5,000. And if we raise $5,000 for you and Kitchen Table TCG, we shave your beard. I don't think we'll get anywhere close.
That seems incredibly offensive to everybody. I would do it. I would do a charity stream and shave it.
We can
do it for George's for ALS.
What if we raised $2,500 for ALS? Would you shave your beard?
Yeah.
You get nothing. You get zero.
I would shave this and leave the stash.
Ooh, interesting.
We could do it for Movember. That's what we would do for Movember. You just
let's ask George how he feels about the charity stream.
Getting George to have a mustache would be worth.
I can't do the mustache. I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
I look like I'm not allowed
for ALS
within a
research.
I mean, I just look like I'm not allowed within 200 feet of a school. I look bad.
You hate people. That's terrible.
I do it, and that's the sad part. But I do have a job, and people would talk.
All right, everyone. Speaking of talking, if you want to go check out Josh's YouTube channel, go subscribe at Hometown TCG. Go hop in the Discord server. Go buy things over at what's my website? KitchenTableTCG.com. Where you can also join in my Discord server and support this the crap there, all the things. Thank you.
We did the plugs at the beginning. Go rewatch the beginning of the podcast.
Plug it both sides.
No, I'm telling them we're stumbling now. Just go rewatch the beginning of the podcast. It's there.
I just said into a microphone, you've got to plug it both sides. That happened. Everyone, this is
mustache is gonna look great on you.
This has been the episode. Be kind to the people around you, and may the zoo be with you.
And also with you, dude.